Hello, hello, and welcome. Laura Brandenburg here from Bridging the Gap, here today with Todd Fleming. Hi, Todd.
Hi, Laura.
Hi. So Todd is from Summers, Montana. I just got to check my notes. As we mentioned, it's like not a familiar town that most of us are probably familiar with, and it's near Kalispell, Montana. And Todd participated in our spring 2019 session of the Business Analyst Blueprint and had some pretty cool successes from that. So just wanted to share his story with you, or give him an opportunity to share his story with you. So Todd, if you could just take us back a little bit to kind of where you were at when you, like before you joined the Blueprint, where were you at in your career and what were you looking for? Yeah.
At the end of 2018, I found myself in a job search and looked at all the different roles that I've experienced and truly knew in my identity, in my soul, that I'm an analyst. And then I was looking at, well, what kind of analyst am I? And I realized, well, yeah, I think I fit that description of a business analyst, being that person that's that liaison between the front end of the process and systems and making that connection to the back end and developing systems and working well with people. And so I started looking for, well, what does my resume need to look like?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was Googling that and I came across bridgingthegap.com and found you, Laura, and started researching your website, and then saw that you wrote a book, How to Start a Business Analyst Career. And I'm like, well, this is the person I need to connect with. So that's how it started, and I started looking at your free online courses and really thought that your material was legitimate and well presented, and it spoke to me in a way that I could understand. And so I signed up for your course early right at the beginning of January, and really was looking to build a foundation as a business analyst, having a resource to go to that gives me confidence and credibility in the skill sets that are labeled as a business analyst.
Mm-hmm. So what were some of your expectations like going into the program?
Well, I think in the very beginning, I thought, well, this will lead me to be a certified professional. I'm still not sure if that's really the right course for me at this time. So that was the very beginning that I thought, well, I need that CBEP stamp on my resume to, be a better catch or to catch, more attention. But now, 8 months later, almost, I don't really see that as like the definite thing that I need to do. But I do, after completing the course, have the educational units that I need to, go forward with that.
Yeah.
So
it's always an option. Yeah. Yeah, and that happens a lot, that people come in with that goal and things shift as they go through the course because they build the experience and the confidence that you're kind of looking for this outside validation of, but it starts to come more from the inside. So tell me, one of the reasons I wanted to speak with you specifically, because you mentioned you were in between jobs when you joined the program, and one of the things that we do in the Blueprint is you're applying each of the modules as you go through. And you had a really unique way of solving that dilemma, being somebody in between jobs. So can you tell us a little bit about how that worked out for you?
Sure.
Yeah.
So a former employer of mine, who I built a database system for, was merging with its parent company. So it was more or less a subsidiary, smaller company merging with the larger company. And right at the beginning of this year, this merger was developing. And I let the business owner know what I was up to. Signed up for this course to develop my business analyst skills, and just wanted to let you know. He told me a little more about the merger, and I said, well, maybe there's a way I can help you with that, because I'm already a subject matter expert in their field. I developed the system that now the parent company has adopted. So they were adopting the system that I had built, architected for them. And so I was the original business analyst, designer, architect, and developer of this system. And so it made sense to bring me on board to do some of this work. So as things progressed, for example, the first module for analyzing the business process, I analyzed a process for their financing or invoicing. So it was the process was invoice a completed work order. And so I did the complete workflow diagram. I interviewed the main person in their invoicing department, and realized that there was a gap in their process on, well, what do you do when invoicing rejects the invoice from the project manager that sent it in? They had no process for that, or a step or a decision point in that. When they made that decision, it just kind of was left to communicate the rejection in a pretty vague, anonymous, or there wasn't a sending point at all to it. So as they were getting more involved with their merger, and they were involving me just bringing this new system online to the parent company, I found the opportunity to show this to the top levels of the new company or the parent company, to show them some examples of the work that I'm doing in the Business Analyst Blueprint course. And so that caught their attention. They really appreciate it. And I offered it at no cost to them. And so just doing it in good faith that it may lead to more work, and it has. So to this day right now, we're just getting into the start of redesigning this original system, basically coming out with version 2 of it. And they've engaged me to do that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you started just volunteering, right, for them, and gave them like a bit of it for free. And then that led to an actual client engagement as well.
Right. I was hired to do administrative work on their system, but the business analyst work that I was doing was more or less volunteer work.
Gotcha. And had you done that kind of analysis before when you were designing that original system? Not
to that detail.
Okay.
I didn't do workflow diagrams. I didn't do an ERD. So it was more or less just building it from what I knew. And so this developed the framework. This gave me the framework to be able to do the detailed work that's necessary to document a process and document how the system is actually laid out. Especially when it comes to what they really need is documentation for within their dictionary and their glossary, the whole data modeling, so that they can take this system, whether the platform they use now needs to change, then they can take that and move it along, whether I'm there or not for them.
Gotcha. And so I've actually talked to a lot of people who come from a business background recently. It's been a while since I talked to somebody from a software background. So tell me, what were some of the mental switches for you that triggered, like, it's the same system, you designed it, you built it, right? And now you're looking at it from this completely different view. Like, what was that experience like?
I really had to humble myself to say, okay, I need to look at this from that different perspective. Maybe there's a better practice that I could employ in this, especially within the redesign. My instructor, Doug, led me into a whole rework of how the tables would be presented in the system. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, I designed the original one and you're telling me this isn't the right way to do it. And so now, though, I have that and I accepted that as it was challenging, and looked at it in a different way. And now I can actually take the second version of this system, the 2.0, and make it even that much better and create a more value to the customer.
Yeah, and what are some of the wins that they've experienced as a result of this, or some of the benefits to the organization you're working for?
Well, they are benefiting mostly on they're taking a system that in process, so all their systems right now that are kind of just desperate and on their own, they're looking to integrate their systems and really produce valuable data-driven decisions. And so this gives them the starting point to grow in that. Right now, the company doesn't have an in-house IT department. It doesn't have, I'm just working as a contractor or a consultant for them. And so when I'm told that you want to make data-based decisions, who's maintaining your data? Is it so this is giving the company the benefit of realizing, yeah, they need to make a move in that direction. So if they want to follow through with their vision, they need to bring in the resources to make that vision happen.
Yeah.
If they want to try to do it internally without the right resources, it's going to be a long, difficult road. And I think they've already been there. Right. And so they're ready for change in that. So that created an opportunity, the timing of this, having an added value skill set that I earned through the blueprint. It presents me in a way to them that, like, well, yeah, we need you here working on this project.
Right. Yeah. And it's created, now you really are a business analyst, right? You're doing these skills as part of your contract and consulting work. Would you consider yourself that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've been self-employed for about the last 4 years. And now I feel confident that I can label myself as a business analyst. Where before it was more or less, I tried to give a name to it, was like systems manager consultant or something like that. Yeah. And I've worked within project management and project coordination, but I never really had that title business analyst until recently. And I feel comfortable that when you look at my LinkedIn profile and it says business analyst as the first thing you see, that, yeah, I've been working as a business analyst and I do indeed have these skill sets.
Right. And the experience.
Yes.
Yeah. And what do you see as next for you?
Well, I'm basically taking it one project at a time. I'm looking at opportunities, new career opportunities, looking for business analyst roles, possibly, underemployment instead of self-employed. I'm really not sure right now as we speak where it's going. So I do want to work on this project with the company here in Kalispell.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm not sure really what the longevity of that will be. Maybe they create a new role for me and want to bring me in as an employee, or just we do a service contract
Mm-hmm.
to continue our relationship professionally, or I'm open to new things right now.
Right, right. Awesome. So thank you for your time. I just got a couple more questions. It's been really helpful. I think a lot of people like get in this gap. And what I love about your story is how like you were in that state and you got unstuck and out of it. And it's really the growth path over the last eight months is pretty significant as a result of that. So thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
Yeah. So what would you give to people who are kind of in that same state, like in between opportunities, thinking like, could I reach out to my past employer? Like what advice, I guess is my question, is would you give them to follow in your footsteps? Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to reach out and
Yeah.
say, what do you have going on? By the way, we're doing a merger. I'm like, oh, really? So the work that I did for you before may be not so relevant, but now I have a strengthened skill set that I think will help you
Right.
move forward with your new project. I was looking for help on how to define myself as a business analyst and what was it, and thankfully, Laura, you created what you created for all of us to learn from you and your program, and you hit it on the mark. How do I start my business analyst career?
Yeah, well, thank you for that. And what I'm hearing from you too is like there was the reaching out, like it doesn't hurt. I might hear yes, I might hear no. There might be something here, there might be not, right? And not having a story around that or kind of a fear around that, just kind of setting that aside. But also like letting people know that you are expanding in your skill set, because I think a lot of people who've done one thing in the past kind of feel pigeonholed in that role.
Mm-hmm.
And so you do have to kind of be active in like telling people that you're going in a new direction and helping them see that or the potential of that in their organization. So a few things to focus on as you're doing outreach. Somebody else is going to follow that kind of path. And then final question, where would you be today if you hadn't chosen to make the investment in yourself in the blueprint? What do you think?
Wow, I'm really not sure.
It's a hard question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would probably still be trying to figure out, how do I start a business analyst career?
Mm-hmm.
And how do I find, how do I apply what I've done in the past experiences and move it forward to a business analyst career, because that's what I want to do. And so I think I would, if I hadn't taken the course, I would still be kind of set on some old thinking and old ways of doing things, which aren't modern best practices. Kind of like just self-taught, filling in the role when it wasn't well defined in the past. And so now
what would be an example of that?
Years ago when I was in Ohio, I worked on, I was basically the program manager for an SAP billing system for a utility, and I didn't have a staff. And so I filled that role as business analyst. But I didn't have a foundation of what to do until I kind of saw it happen, because I had contracted some business analysts that came over from India, and they were doing workflow diagrams and things like that. Well, I didn't have a clue about how that fit into the whole system. I just would look at data tables and figure things out and not realize what was missing. And just so I was able to still re-engineer process, but it wasn't well documented for the company. So now if I were to go back to that space, I would be able to, know what to do to document it. Who do I need to bring in to help understand the process better and redefine it? But in the end, it still worked. Processes were improved. But how they got improved, there's no history of that other than, what I know, really.
Right. So the value you can add now is, like you had mentioned this, like whether I stay on this contract or not, like they're going to have some assets that they can use to run the system. And so like that increases the value you're adding, because when you leave, that system still can be maintained and understood and used well. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I want for the company, when the time comes for me to leave, that they can look at what I brought to them and say, thank you.
Yeah.
I go, oh, this guy left all this stuff undone, and now we can't do anything about it.
And that comes around full circle for you too. Like, I think it can be scary, like, oh, now they don't need me. But on the flip side, like somebody else will come see that and be like, wow, this guy did great work. Like, maybe we should call him back, or, give you a great reference. Because I've had that happen where like my work is from years ago is still being used, and then it leads to something positive in the future. So I love that goal for you. That's a good one.
Right. I do a good job of working myself out of a role or out of a job. It's so what that means is I'm usually creating a system that replaces me, and then training somebody to do this at a lower level than where I was, because the system is replacing the higher level skill set. And so, so in turn, like what you were saying, it comes full circle to where, well, that value will be remembered, and then when they need that again, it'll come back.
Yeah, that's great. Anything else you'd like to share before we close things?
I've enjoyed working with all the staff at the BA Blueprint, and from the very beginning, Laura, when we met and spoke in the early enrollment, I just really had a warm feeling from you that you care, and you do. It's obvious. You're to help people, and I appreciate that, and I thank you.
Thank you, and I appreciate you taking the time to share this. I love celebrating successes and helping, inspire other people to follow along in these successes as well. So thank you so much, Todd.
Hey, you're welcome.